great time, and while we were there, Andrew George asked us if we would come to Sugar Hill. And of course, we're glad to be here. And I want to say up front that we're not here asking for votes. We are in the campaign season, but we know that Sugar Hill supports us, and we know that because when we did the petition drive, we took 3 weeks and got more petition signatures than any other candidate in the state that did petition, and they had 12 weeks. And a big part of that success was the work that John Fulton and Andrew George did and others right here on Sugar Hill. So we know we have the support of Sugar Hill. We want to come out anyway and just fellowship with you and have a good time and have a great meal. Not asking tonight for your vote, but we're always asking for your prayers. We know that if you pray for us, the votes will come. And so we're just happy to be here. And, this is a very serious election. And I just want to spend a couple of minutes and just give you some facts. And those of you who had the committee meeting the other night, you heard most of this. But our state, for some reason, we're at the top of the list in everything bad, and at the bottom of the list in everything good with a few exceptions. Why is that? I say it's because of the folks we have in control. And we have a Republican governor, we have a majority Republican Senate, and we have a majority Republican House of Representatives. As I said the other night, the last time, so they have everything is Republican. The last time everything in South Carolina was all Democrat was 28 years ago. The last time we had a Democratic House was 18 years ago, and the last time we had a Democratic Senate was 12 years ago. So we cannot be complacent. South Carolina, there's a lot of work that has to be done, and there are a lot of candidates that don't care about the things we care about. There are a lot of candidates that are saying, I'm a Democrat, when really they're Republican. So don't take their word for it. Don't take my word for it. When we come out and talk to you and try to get you to vote for us, check us out. Everybody who says they're your friend is not your friend. Amen. We have candidates in this race that came down between the filing deadline of March 16th and March 30th and moved their residence here just to run for Senate. Now, we were there all before that. We've always needed help. But just because we have a Senate seat open, now they want to come and move and expect us to vote for them. But they should have been here working, as a lot of us have been over the years. Just to give you some of the things that we're facing with in South Carolina and what I'm dealing with in Columbia as your House member. Half the children in South Carolina live in poverty. As you know, I see a lot of educators out here. South Carolina underfunds education, especially in the rural areas. Now, we were able to get the base student costs up this school year, to $2,012 per child. And that may sound good, but by our own law, we should be up to about $2,700 or $2,800 per child. So we're underfunding education. All children should have a right to a quality education regardless of where they live. It's not fair that the children in Greenville or Charleston or Columbia or Beaufort County have access to a high quality education. We're all South Carolinians, we all pay taxes for our schools, and there's no logical reason why, depending on where you live, should determine what kind of education you get. Now, on the federal level, we're also here asking us, let's vote to re-elect President Obama. They keep talking about Obamacare this and Obamacare that, and Mitt Romney said on the first day he's in office, which we know that's not going to happen, but he said if he gets in, the first thing he's going to do is repeal Obamacare, which is really called the Affordable Care Act, but they put it on Obama, and he's proud of that act, so he takes that name. But Obamacare, as they call it, it allows our children to stay on our insurance until they get 26 years old. That gives our children a chance to go out, get a good education, find a good job before they're kicked off their parents' insurance. Obamacare allows us to get insurance, or it disallows insurance companies. Before Obamacare, if you had a pre-existing condition, you could not get insurance. And that's the time you really need insurance. So with Obamacare, you can't be denied insurance for having pre-existing conditions. Before Obamacare, there was a lifetime limit on your insurance coverage. All right? It was $1 million. That sounds like a lot of money. But as I said before, if you get a serious illness, that $1 million will be wiped up quick, and after that's allotted for, you can't get health insurance. Well, with Obamacare, there's no limit on your insurance. Now, with Obamacare, you don't have to go to the emergency room for your health care. A lot of times you go to the emergency room, a lot of folks are there for common colds or minor illnesses or whatever because they don't have any other way to go. With Obamacare, they can now go to their doctor. Now, if you watched the debate last night, you heard very clearly about what Mitt Romney was saying about Medicare. They want to voucherize Medicare. They want to cut Medicare and give you a voucher to go out to get health care. That's a Republican concept, all right? Republicans also want to take your tax dollars that should be going to fund public schools so that all students could get a good education, and they want to give private school parents tax vouchers and tax credits to send their kids to private schools. I would tell you in Columbia that since I've been there, there's been a strong push each year to try to take tax dollars and give parents tax credits and vouchers to send their kids to private schools. We vote against that bill every year, and every year it gets a little closer. Sometimes it only passed by one vote. We voted against it. That bill would have cost, if it passed, it would have cost South Carolina $90 million. Now, when we're trying to get money for public education, they say there's no money. But lo and behold, they want to spend $90 million that we don't have to give parents vouchers to send their children to private schools. A lot of private school parents are not even asking for this. Now, I tell you, the private school community in this district are backing one of my opponents for that very reason, because they know that as long as I'm there, I will never vote to give vouchers or tax credits to parents to send their kids to private schools. If you want to send your child to a private school, that's great. I think you ought to send your kid to the best school that you think is good for your child, but don't expect the taxpayers to pay for it. We're not even funding the public education as we should. Now, what I'm saying is, if you care about health care, if you care about a good school system, if you care about our tax system, we have to wake up. There are a lot of folks going around in this Senate District 36 election. 4 of us are running, and I'm telling you, they're trying to pull the wool over your eye. Now, as I say, don't take their word for it. Don't take my word for it. Do your research, and you'll see there's only one candidate who has been here working throughout the community for the last 30 years. Only one candidate didn't have to change his address in order to run, and only one candidate that has the qualification and experience that we need in Columbia. Now, if we lose this Senate seat, like I said before, the Republican Senate in Columbia only needs one more Republican senator, and they got a free ticket. Right now, with the numbers, it's 27 Republicans and 19 Democrats, but they don't have a 2/3 majority, so they can pass nothing unless they come to the Democrats and negotiate and deal. And a lot of bad legislation can be stopped because we have the filibuster principle. If they get one more Republican senator, it's all over. They don't have to come to the Democrats for anything. And now, they first went around saying I shouldn't be on the ballot because of this and because of that. The state Democratic Party, the state election commission, the state ethics commission said you were wrong. He's properly certified. He's a Democratic candidate. That wasn't good enough. They sued me. We had to go to court in Charleston. Had to go through a trial. The circuit court judge said I was properly certified. I'm the Democratic nominee for Senate 36. That wasn't good enough. So they appealed that judge's decision. Went to the Supreme Court. Now, those of you who were at the meeting Tuesday night, we talked about this, but guess what? On yesterday, the Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision, ruled that I was, in fact, the Democratic nominee for District 36. So we don't know what the next move is going to be, but because of all of you here tonight, we're able to stay one step ahead of them and everything that they're trying. Let me just get closer to an end. This thing about this voter ID law, that's just geared to make sure Obama don't get reelected. As I said Tuesday night, they said we need voter ID because of voter fraud. Well, I will tell you that in South Carolina, not one person has ever been investigated, tried, indicted, or reported for voter fraud or for impersonating anybody else. All right? What happened in 2008 when Obama was running? Republicans walked around all over this country, and they looked at the folks standing in lines ready to vote to elect President Obama, and this is what they saw. They saw African Americans, they saw Latinos, they saw students, so on. They didn't like what they saw. And then Obama won. And they set out to make sure that he was going to be a one-term president. And the way they went about doing that was to make sure that a lot of us could not vote. Now, to give you an example with the voter ID law, which I don't think is going to pass, but you have to have one form of ID, for example, as a South Carolina driver's license. All right? If you have a driver's license, that's your legal ID, you can vote. But guess what? If your license is suspended for whatever reason, keep in mind it's your face on that picture, it's your information on that driver's license, everything else is completely accurate, but only because that license is suspended, the way that law is written, you can't vote. So what we're doing now to try to get around some of these tricks they're playing, we're asking everyone in District 36 who qualifies to vote absentee. Absentee is important. You don't have to go upstairs now and go downstairs like you did in the courthouse with the new administration building. It's all on one level. This is what absentee voting does. It banks your vote against rain, against bad weather, against car trouble, against you might not be feeling good that day, whatever the case may be. You can go vote anytime now if you qualify absentee and get your vote in the box. I'm asking you not to risk your future on one day, November 6th. We don't know what's going to be going on November 6th, but we know right now we got good weather. We can get around. The lines won't be long, and it's already been said that the Republicans and the Tea Party has already said on election day they're going to try to disrupt everything. They're going to make the lines slow. They're going to make the lines long because they want you to go out on November 6th, go to the poll, see a long line, see a lot of confusion, and get frustrated and get in your car and go home without voting. So they're going to try all kind of things to make you not be able to vote. But one thing they did when they passed the voter ID law, although it's not law yet, but one loophole's in that law as it stands, you don't have to have an ID to vote absentee. So even if we had a voter ID law today, the way it's written, and they'll probably clean it up next year if it passes, but the way it's written, you don't have to have an ID. So go and make sure you vote if you qualify. If you have any questions, see any member of our committee, ask them, but we're here to help. Now, I'll tell you about this election. There's a lot of Republican money. There's a lot of money outside of this district that's trying to influence this election. There's a lot of private school money. They're telling you all kind of things, playing all kind of tricks. But keep in mind that when you go to Columbia, experience matters. Columbia is no place to go to try to learn how to be a public official. You need to bring something to the table when you get there. And as you know from me over the years, I have more experience than all of the other candidates combined. Some have none. One, everything he's been involved in, he's gotten kicked off of. So I'm just asking you all to look at all of us, look at the facts, and choose a candidate who can best represent you in Columbia. We want to thank you for coming out. We hope everybody have a great time. I want to thank the Johnson for Senate committee who are here, who work very hard at everything that we have. And keep in mind, between now and November 6th, we're going to be all over the place. And anytime you hear of anything we're having, if you don't get an invitation, just know already you're invited. Everything we have is open to the public. Somebody's got something to...
We have voter registration forms.
Okay, we have voter registration forms here. Mr. Lemon?
Early voting started Monday.
Early voting started Monday, and people are voting. So if you qualify, if you're over 65, and if you're not going to be in town that day, if you got a student who's away at college, there's a lot of different reasons you can vote absentee. And one thing that we kind of cover everything, if you think you're not going to be in town on election day, you can go vote absentee today. And a lot of folks that don't qualify for any other reason, they can say, look, I'm not going to be in town today, I want to vote now. Make sure you vote, and make sure you vote for the person that you want to vote for. Now, we're asking everybody to vote a straight Democratic ticket. That's going to take care of the president and all the Democrats down the ballot. All right? But if you want to vote for a petition candidate, you can. You can still vote straight Democrat and vote for a petition candidate. Now, the South Carolina House District 64, where I currently sit, is only petition candidates. So you got to vote for them as a petition candidate. But just make sure when you do your ballot that you're voting for the person that you really want to vote for, because they're trying all kind of things. We have opponents that have people out there that are hired hands. They're getting paid to tell you, vote for this guy, although they know nothing about this guy. And it just blows my mind that because we have an open Senate seat, we got two guys that drop out of the sky, now they want to be your senator. But you got to kind of work your way up to these things and make sure that you can go there and represent. It's a good place to be, but it's not an easy place to be. If you go there with no experience, we're going to get left out. And one thing, keep in mind that, and I'll tell you this, and I'm going to see if anybody have any questions so we can eat, but keep in mind, I'll tell you this, the only reason why they talked me into giving up my House seat and running for the Senate seat is because it was impressed upon me the importance of keeping a senator in Clarendon County. If we mess around with these petition candidates, I'm just to be honest with you, and split our vote, then we got a Republican that's sitting over there, and he could win by default. And that means that we've had a Democratic senator forever. Now you got a Republican senator. We've had a senator that resides in Clarendon County forever. Now you got one that lives in Sumter. If we lose that Senate seat to the Republican or to somebody outside of Clarendon County, we're going to be in trouble for a lot of years to come. So look at the big picture. If they want to buy your lunch, go ahead and take the lunch. If they want to give you $5 or $6, go ahead and take it if you want to. But when you go vote, make sure you vote in your best interest. Don't vote against your best interest for a few dollars. And that's what they're up to. So I stand before you, as I say, with the candidate that has the experience, with the candidate that works. I'm a full-time legislator. I don't have to go punch a clock anywhere. This is what I do on a full-time basis. And I see a lot of folks out here that over the years have called me, and you know when you call me, I show up. You know, if you call me, you get a return call, and sometimes it might not be, thank you, it might not be the answer you want to hear, but you're going to get the correct answer. I'm not going to tell you something just to make you feel good. I'm going to be upfront with you. We're going to try to help you. And after this election, we're going to still be working on your behalf. You're not going to see me win the election and go away and come back in 4 years. I'm a full-time legislator. This is what I do, and I have the experience. Look at the posts we have hanging up there, and I've been at this for a long time. It's all about the people we serve, and it's not about me. It's all of us working together to make sure we can make a difference. I said more than what I intended to say, but do we have anybody have any questions? Yes.
You know, I answered before. They say about vote Democrat on the Democrat side, and then not voting votes on the side, because what happens is you start splitting the vote. What happens when you split the votes? You know, when you vote for the other candidate and not vote for the Democrat side, it's a different thing there. Can you explain about that a little bit?
Well, let me say it this way. This district covers 4 counties. And I'm just going to be upfront with you. And those of you that travel with me to Sumter County and Florence County and Darlington County will tell you the Democrats in those other counties, they're saying to their Democratic voters, listen, don't mess your ballot up. Vote a straight Democratic ticket. If you have a favorite candidate that got kicked off the ballot, tell them I'm sorry, come back out in 4 years, because we can't afford to take a chance and mess our ballot up, and Obama don't get our vote, and the candidates we want to get our vote don't get our vote. Now, having said that, what we're asking everybody again to do when you go vote, vote a straight Democratic ticket if you're a Democrat. But I do know that we have some petition candidates who are popular and who some people think are the better candidate, not in District 36 now, but in these other races. If you want to vote for one of them, vote straight Democrat first. Let me just use an example. Let's say the sheriff race, all right? Vote a straight Democratic ticket. When you vote a straight Democratic ticket, at that point, Randy Garrett, being the Democratic candidate for sheriff, will get your vote. Before you close your ballot out, if you'd rather vote for Russell Blackwell, for example, you can go to that part of the ballot and vote for Russell Blackwell as a petition candidate. And what's going to happen to your ballot for sheriff is Randy will not get that vote, but Russell will get it. All right? So to make it easy, vote straight Democrat first, and then if you want to choose a petition candidate in any race, you can do that. Keep in mind this. In House District 64, there are 2 candidates, and both of them are petition candidates. So you have to vote petition for that particular category, all right? You have to. So if you vote straight Democrat and close your ballot out, you hadn't voted for a House member yet. So if you have a House member you prefer, make sure you go out on the ballot and elect them. It seems hard, but it's not hard. If you need help, that's what the folks that work there are for, or call any one of us. We're not going. Whatever you want to do, we're going to help you do it.